Hi guys, Keith Darkenberg Farms up here in the front plot today. Gonna go through, harvest my multi-plugs and show you what I get out of them. So these are my multi-plugs. I planted multiple seeds per cell. They grow out like that. Just plop them in a hole in your landscape fabric, let them grow. These are actually extras I had left that were too small for me to get out at the time. But I did the same thing, the arugula over here. Got quite a bit of flea beetle damage. They just seem to be horrible over here in this plot. The same thing with my spring mix, red Russian kale and mustard greens. Again, flea beetles love them. And then here is the all-star mix. That's the multi-plugs. It's coming along pretty good. But for today, we're just going to harvest this stuff. Now each of these plugs were dropped into a hole in landscape fabric. And the result is actually a pretty good looking bed. Now I'm going to hand harvest this just so I can get some accurate harvest totals on it. Probably use a quick cut green harvester if I wanted to. It should slice right across, but it should be pretty easy because I can just grab the whole entire bunch and cut it. There's really nothing to it. Makes for extremely easy harvesting, especially when you get a whole handful like that every time. The smaller ones you can grab two. Okay, let's continue down in bed, see how much I get out of it. That was actually a pretty good yield there. 6 foot of bed, got a large tote here. It's about halfway full. Not bad. Good leaf size on it. A little bit more stem than I'd like, but tastes good. Now I'll go and do the same for the spring mix. Now we're going to do the same thing, harvesting the spring mix. Again, I could use a quick cut if I wanted to. I'm going to go ahead and do it by hand just so I can kind of see what I'm getting out of it. Again, getting really good size bunches with each cut. Let's continue that down to the end. So again, it's about 9 foot of bed, and I've got about half, 8 3/4 of a tote, which is not bad at all for only having 8 foot of bed here. And the great thing is, it looks like I should be able to get a second cut off that. Let me turn around and show you. So everything cut pretty much at the same level, all the way across. It's my arugula. There's my spring mix of brassicas. So I got a pretty good cut off of that. I'm rather happy. And the great thing is that if I was in an area that was completely inundated by grass and weeds, I would not have to worry about trying to cultivate this and trying to save it. Still got a little bit of arugula left down here. Next thing is to wait and see how long it takes for the brassica, the all-star mix to get going. It's still rather small. I planted it out about a week later. And the same thing down here. Also, another experiment I'm doing down here is radishes. Threw, I don't know, 3 or 4 seeds just per hole. I didn't start them in a plug. I just dibbled out a hole, dropped some radish seeds in a hole. They look like they're coming along pretty good. About another week and we'll have radishes to pick. I'm interested to see what the yield is on those as well. Now, I must say, all in all, this is a much more labor-intensive method, because I could have direct seeded all of that in no time flat. Instead, I had to seed it into flats. Then I had to transplant it. And I harvested by hand, but I could get away with using a green harvester. I mean, looking at it now and seeing how it cut and the height I got on all of it, I could very easily do that with the greens harvester, and I'll get a second cut. But the one main thing is that if you have beds that are just terribly inundated with weed and grass, there's nothing else you can do about it, this is a really, really good method. For seeding the trays, we used, I think it's about 1 ounce of seed per tray, 200 cell flat, just sprinkled it out over the tray, just covered it over with soil. Grew it in the greenhouse like usual until I could pull the plugs out, and I planted them. Might change densities a little bit. Looks like this stuff is good. The All-Star, I probably want to take that down to about half as much, because the plugs I got planted here were the ones that had the best growth in them, which was the ones that had the least amount of seeds in them. The ones I still have in the flat over here, which are almost a month old, are lots in there. And I couldn't get them out because there were too many in there, all too small at the time. But I mean, the premise is good. I could still go out and plant these things. They're not root bound terribly or anything. Well, I hope y'all liked what you saw today. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank y'all. Have a good day.